Okay, so welcome to this Capstone project session, guys. Now I'm start that recording. Okay. Yes. Okay, so this is the Capstone project session, guys. So this is a Scrum related project because this is an Agile project, right? So we are using like a Scrum framework. Okay. So in this Scrum, first of all, Agile. So this is a one of that methodology we know. So in this Agile methodology, we are working in one project here, guys. Okay, using the Scrum framework. Okay, so our project, first of all, our project is Scrum Foods. Okay, so now you can see the project name is Scrum Food, nothing but like food delivery application, guys. This is a food delivery application, nothing but like in a Swiggy Zomato type. Okay, and so, and one more thing, the project description, you can see like Scrum Foods provides a fast, okay, and reliable online food delivery application targeting the customers of all age groups, offering 24 by 7 services along with the tracking of the delivery real time. We know like how to track that application because we are using in a real time like some applications, right? Same like this is a nothing but like a Scrum Food delivery app, guys. Okay. So here you can see that first question is Agile manifesto, right? Agile manifesto. Here you need to write that Agile manifesto, guys. So we know like we have a 4 values and 12 principles in that Agile manifesto. So this is nothing but like a guidelines and everything. So under that Agile, you are using like any framework like a Scrum or Kanban, something extreme programming, anything. But we need to follow this Agile manifesto. Okay, so what are the guidelines, each and everything, like 4 principles and 12, 4 values and 12 principles is there, right? You need to follow the rules and everything. Okay, so this is the Agile manifesto, guys. We have 4 principles and 12, sorry, 4 values and 12 principles is there, right? So you need to write that first question here. Okay, so you need to write that 4 values and 12 principle here, guys. And one more thing here you can see. This is the one of the this is a Scrum life cycle, guys. Okay, so you can see in that thing like product vision, and we write that user stories in that storyboard. So once you write that storyboard, we can just drop into that product backlog. Okay, so here they're conducting like in a product retrospective meeting or nothing but like a product grooming meeting. So we are just giving that each user story like in a prioritization MVP. Okay, here initialize we are giving the PV and CP values and they're finalizing the sprint planning meeting. So once the product backlog is in okay, they're conducting like a sprint planning meeting. Through the sprint planning meeting, they're just send that a particular user stories to that sprint backlog. Whatever the product backlog user stories, sprint planning meeting through the sprint planning meeting, they're just whatever that sprint, how many user stories need to start to that sprint. So that user stories only they're just sent to that sprint backlog. Okay, so immediately the sprint will be started. Okay, before starting that sprint, we got like a TBOD checklist. Okay, something like that it will become. So this related Scrum foods. Okay, we need to give like a lot some questions. Okay, each and every question you need to write here, guys. Okay, you just need to understand how many meetings will be covered here. What is the Scrum team? Now you can see that Scrum team, like a Scrum Master one, Product Owner one, and remaining the development team. Okay, Scrum development team will be there. Okay, the minimum 10 or 11. Okay, maximum 14 like that it will be good. We can't predict based on the project. We have a team. Okay, so this is nothing but like a Scrum overview of this Scrum, guys. Scrum framework. So now you can see the COPD. Now you can see some sample. Client is a COPD IT solutions, guys. Okay, and the stakeholders list also we are giving here like a business owner, administrator. Okay, restaurant, something delivery boy, customer. We are giving that. So this is the thing. And one more thing, guys. So this is the product vision document. This is a sample thing, guys. There is no need for that. You don't write anything here. Just understanding purpose we are giving here. This one product vision and everything. Okay. So that meeting discussing whatever they're discussing, like this is the venue where, because they're conducting a product division meeting, right? So that's why. And the start date and time date. This is a sample template, guys. Okay, this is a sample template only. Okay, and this one is the client COPD IT solutions. Okay, that is stakeholders list also will be there. And this one is a Scrum team. Okay, the Scrum team who are working in this project. Okay, so the Scrum team, like a developer, so product owner and Scrum master we are giving here. Okay, so this is the thing, and this is the vision, guys. This is sample vision we are giving here to understanding purpose. So what is your vision? So like you are reaching goal to for that creating a product. So if here we just targeting at groups. Okay, and what are the needs of the product? Okay, and this one is the what is in a product and how to make to discussing about like a product, guys. Okay, how it is feasible to develop the product and everything we are discussing here, and how much value it will be increased, like how much value it will be benefited for that companies, like that. Okay, what are the business goals and what are the business model, each and everything we are discussing here. And this is a sample vision thing, guys. Okay, so please read this once. Okay, this is sample thing we are giving here. Okay, as of now we are writing only one question, that is an agile manifesto. You need to write that agile manifesto only. This is the understanding purpose we are giving here. Okay, just read this once. This is the sample templates. Okay, so what they are discussing about that product division, they are discussing like a customer side. So the registration, login, and something like a search and view restaurant, something what will be covered like customer side and delivery boy side or the restaurant side. We need to write that notes here, guys. Okay, we just write that notes here. Each like actor, what it will become like registration, login, like a view order. Okay, these are all the notes we need to write here in the whatever the discussing in the product vision. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, so this is the end of the product division, and now you can see that user story workshops. Now we are discussing about the second question, that is nothing but a user story. This is a sample thing, guys. This is a sample thing. How to write that user stories. Now you can see. So in that sprint one, how many user stories will come? Okay, they're discussing in that sprint planning meeting how many user stories will come. Okay, and this is the user story one. So this is the one of the template we are giving here. Same like that, you need to write that user story, guys. So this is the user story one. This is a template only, guys. First of all, first question you need to write that Agile manifesto only. So this is the only understanding purpose we are giving here. Okay. So this is the way. So user stories, you need to write that user stories for the second question. So this is the format you need to follow. Okay. You need to like this table format. Okay. Otherwise, like you need to write that user story one, like how many tasks will come and the priority you give, and that this is the user story you need to give, and BV value and CP value, and this is an acceptance criteria. So this is the format you need to write that user stories. The first question is the Agile manifesto only. You need to write that four principles and four values and 12 principles. Okay, and the second question is the user stories. Okay, I will tell you just a second. This is sample user stories we are giving here. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So now you can see that's question number two. So user stories acceptance criteria PV, CP. Okay, values you need to give here. Minimum you need to write the 40 user stories of this food delivery application. Okay, Scrum Foods application. You need to write the 40 user stories and their acceptance criteria along with the BV and CP value. So whatever we are giving this format, okay, this format you need to write that one. Okay, 40 user stories. Okay, guys, and that this is the user ID, like a user story ID, and this one is a task. How many tasks will be there? Okay, and this one is a priority. We know like by using the Masco technique, we give the priority. Okay, and the next one is the as a customer, I want to chat with that. So as a customer, whatever the customers will come, like a restaurant manager, for example. So as a customer or like as a restaurant manager, That way we need to write that user stories. We know how to write the user stories. I want to chat with the like admin. Okay, this is the one of the feature he was asking, so that I can request for the refund. So what is the like a feature, and what we can do also we can given here, guys. Okay, so you need to write that as a customer. This is the way you need to write a like a service. Sorry, you need to write this user story. Okay, like as a customer I want to chat with that reg admin, so that I can request for that refund. Okay, so this is the way you need to raise a service request. And after that, please give that PV value and CP value also. This is the business value complexity points. Okay, so you need to write that business value and complexity points. Okay, like a business value will give like a business owner. Okay, and the complexity points will give like a development team. Okay, based on some complexity points, like based on like a Fibonacci series like that, or poker cards. Based on the things are unit wises, they're giving the complexity points. And the PV values like currency notes. Okay, based on the currency notes or dollars. Based on the things, client will give you like an BV value. Okay, and that next acceptance criteria, nothing but like it's a some specific conditions related whatever that user story, we are giving some specific conditions here in the acceptance criteria. So this is the way you need to write that 40 user stories for that scrum foods, guys. So this is the second question, you need to write one. Okay, so you need to write that 40 user stories. Okay, and the third question is an epic, guys. So first of all, what is an epic? So nothing but like guys, related, okay, like a related user stories. Okay, the set of related user stories we called it as an epic. For example, restaurant manager related, we are writing some user stories, for example. Okay, so that all that user stories, that set of user stories will that is a one related, right? That restaurant manager related, that user stories we call it as an epic. Okay, so here you need to write the two epics, guys. Okay, and you need to give that business value and complexity points also. You need to write that epic here. Okay, you need to write that epic like a related user stories. Okay, so you need to write that two epics here. What is an epic? And you write that two epics here. Okay, and the fourth question is, so what is the difference between the BV and CP values? BV is the business value and CP is the complexity points. So as we discussed, like who will give that business value and complexity points, I already told you, like a BV value, client will give you, and complexity points will give you like a complexity points will give you like the development team. Okay, and one more thing, based on the things like a complexity points based on the poker cards, or like a units wise, or nothing but like an some Fibonacci series wise, they're giving like a development team will give the complexity points. Okay, and that PV value will give that client only based on the urgency of that particular user story. Client will give that uh, a PV value. Okay, and how much that value increased in that product, that feature will be added. So based on the things only, the client will give you the PV value. Okay, so based on the, like a currency notes, or otherwise like in dollars. If that project is in US, US means then they will give like in dollars. Okay. So this is the, you need to write that difference between the PV and CP values. Okay. And the next thing is in a product backlog. So product backlog related. So this is in a user stories. This is a sample thing, guys. Your user stories will go into the product backlog as it will be go. And that fifth question is the explain a explain about a like sprint, guys. So you need to explain that sprint here. Okay. So sprint, first of all understand that sprint. Okay, so what is a sprint duration? Like a 2 weeks, or maybe like in a 3 weeks, or maybe 4 weeks. Okay, based on that one, like they were discussing in that from the beginning only. The sprint duration is 2 weeks. Okay, your sprint value also you need to give in here. Okay, how much like what is the related, that what is the sprint goal also you need to give, how much value also it will be there, like like how many days it will be conducted. Okay, what is the sprint goal? Like for example, we are creating like an for example, like a customer related one feature we are created in that sprint. Okay, something like anything, one feature we are building here. So that is our sprint goal. Okay, you need to write that one. Okay, how many days it will be, like how many weeks that sprint will be, the duration, you need to write that one. How much value of that sprint? Okay, you need to write that one. Okay, the next scrum is a step one of the sprint, and what is your sprint duration? Like a scrum duration, one day, and that give that scrum value. Okay, and every day whatever that scrum team will be there, right? So you need to write that scrum duration, but like your scrum value also you need to give that one. And the product backlog team and the task of, yeah, guys, we know. So this is the sprint backlog, we have an idea about that one, right? So this is the whatever the product backlog user stories we are taking, we just keep into this here, whatever that user stories and everything. Okay, so and after that we are divided into the tasks wise, guys. Okay, we are divided into the tasks wise, each user story we are divided into the tasks. For example, we know that epic, so epic is a collection of related user stories, we call it as an epic. So whatever that epic, we are break down into that user stories wise. So whatever that user stories, we are break down into that tasks wise. So in that user story means lot of tasks will come, guys. For example, they're preparing like in the first user story. So he want to just create a one chart, something like that. They're giving one user story. So only one person is not to able to take the tasks, right? So each we are divided into the tasks wise, guys, for that user story. Okay. So each task we are giving to or divided into the tasks wise. Okay. And whatever the tasks like we here you can see that work in progress. So what are the tasks we have? We just who are the taking the task also. Uh, Once you watch that Zira, guys, Zira session, you got some idea about of that one. Okay, please watch that one also. Because they're using that Zira. Okay, so whatever the task we are mentioned here, okay, today tasks, okay. So whatever the tasks, so we are divided into the task wise, right? So we just see the task assigned to the developers. Okay, so once the developers are will be assigned, they're working on that. Now you can move into that work in progress. Okay, so all the tasks like that particular task is completed, they will send into that done state. Okay, once that thing is completed, like the testing also, that UAT testing also will be all the things is completed, they will be sent into the done state. That that user that mean like that user story one, like the task only. Okay, whatever that breakdown the task only, we just send to the done state. Okay, so that is nothing but like the sprint will be happen here, guys, in that sprint. Okay, so you need to write this one, guys, in that sprint. Okay, whatever I'm telling you, you need to write this here in that sprint. Okay, you can explain that whole sprint, guys, here. So now you can see the explain the sprint backlog and product backlog, guys. So you need to write that sprint backlog and product backlog. So in that earlier I told you like in the product backlog. Okay, so what will be happen in that like whatever the user stories we are sent to that product backlog, and they're conducting like a product grooming meeting or nothing but we call it as a retrospective meeting. Both are same. So here they're just they cleaning that up whatever that user stories, and nothing but like an they're doing like an first of all whatever the user stories we will be sent to that, and after that we just sorting. Okay, categories wise they're sorting those requirements and they do the prioritization, and they're conducting like an MVP. Okay, one by one they're doing in this product backlog, you need to explain that one. And who are the product owner of the product backlog, nothing but like an product owner. Okay, and that sprint backlog, sprint backlog related whatever you know that one, you need to write that sprint backlog. Now we are discussing about that sprint, right? So that whole sprint backlog, who is the owner of the sprint backlog, like a scrum master. So each and everything you need to write that product backlog and sprint backlog, and whatever the product backlog that user stories, whatever that needed for that MVP user stories, we send to that product backlog through the sprint planning meeting. Okay, so you need to mention that one also. Okay, so in that sprint planning meeting what they're discussing, and that sprint backlog also we conduct like an scrum meeting, nothing but like in a daily stand-up meetings, right? So that also you need to include here, okay, in this product backlog and sprint backlog, okay. What they're discussing in the meetings, okay, you need to mention that one. Okay, please read this one, the sprint planning meeting and daily stand-up meeting, okay, who are involved in these persons also you need to explain. The next question is the what is the impediment log. So that impediment log, you need to write the two impediment, guys. There is nothing but like an issues. Okay. If any issue, so any issue, you need to write that in the impediment log only, guys. Okay. So they're discussing about the impediment logs. Regularly they're checking that if any impediments will be there. Okay. Immediately they will check and they will rectify that issues. Okay. So that is nothing but like in problems or any hurdles like struggles or that issues or problems technique anything. So that is an issue means that we write in the implement log. Okay. So you need to write that what is an implement log you need to write and the two implements. Okay. So whatever the two issues you need to write here, guys. Okay. Not a minimum two, you need to write some more. Okay. So now we can see that this is the just a second. Yeah, sprint. Okay. So this is the sprint burn down chart, guys, and this is the product burn down chart. We can see here. Okay, this is the sample we are giving here, guys. This is the sample we are giving here. So once you use that Zira, okay, you need to write that user stories and everything. We got like an end of that thing. We got a like a this is sprint burn down chart will become. Okay, product burn down chart will not come in this free version, guys. So no worry about of that. You need to write the sprint burn down chart. Okay, burn up chart also it will be available on that Jira chart. So you need to prepare the sprint burn down chart. Okay. So that I think next question. Just a second, guys. So now you can see the sprint start. So this is the one of the sample template we are giving understanding purpose. In that earlier we are discussing that sprint. This is a sprint planning meeting. What they're discussing the discussion points. Okay, and that user story selected 10 MVP. So something like that it will be there. Okay, whatever they're discussing. And this is the sprint backlog. Like this is the 10 user stories that divided into the 20 tasks. So they're a work in progress and the done state. So that state will be completed like 10 things is completed. So this is the thing you need to prepare the sprint backlog, guys. Okay. And prepare the tasks of product backlog. Okay. And that how many scrums will come. Okay. And the next we will have in this sprint, okay, allocate data tasks to developers. So guys, and one more thing here, you need to write that product backlog also information and what is a scrum. You need to write that scrum. Like this is a sample template, guys. Understanding purpose we are giving here. Not only here, while you're coming to that live projects, that time you got an idea about of this one. Okay. So understanding purpose, initial stage we are giving here. Okay. So you need to write that question, what are the question, and you write that answers only. Okay. So here you need to use some templates. Okay. Write that answers. Okay. So like user stories, how to write that user stories. Okay, what are the sprint? Okay, and we are giving like a sprint burn down and burn up charts, right? So that time you need to write that like that way. You need to prepare the charts. Okay, the particular question number. So this is the scrum. So the scrum meeting, what they're discussing in that scrum meeting, nothing but like in a daily stand-up meeting, what they're discussing. So what task did you work in this scrum? Okay, today, and what will be that next day? What we are what we are doing like next? I mean like tomorrow, and what are the challenges we are facing or impediment something like that. So these are things that they're discussing in the daily stand-up meeting. Maybe it will be take like in a 15 to 20 minutes, guys. Every day they're discussing the daily stand-up meeting. Okay, this is nothing but like a thing. And the scrum on the closing, this is the sprint closing activities. So this is the sprint closing activities, guys, from the sprint from the beginning to like a product vision to the sprint closing, how it will be closed, each and everything we are mentioned here, guys. Okay, so this is the way, just these are all the sample templates, guys. Okay, these are all the sample templates only. So once the sprint closing means they're conducting like a sprint retrospective meeting, and after that they're conducting the sprint review meeting also. Okay, this type of meetings they're conducting. Okay, So the next eighth question, seventh question is done, and that eighth question is the explain that velocity of the team, guys. So how much team are working in this application? Okay, that velocity, like how many CP is covered into that sprint, like how many, like complexity point, guys, how many hours they're working spent in this particular project, like in this particular sprint. Okay, so you need to write that one. That's it. Okay, and the next thing is in a draw sprint burn down charts and product burn down charts. So in that earlier we are discussing that chart. So product burn down chart we can't able to do. So because that is in a free version, right? So that's why. So and one more thing, guys, please once watch that Jira session, because that explain like a once like an Agile Scrum framework, like a Scrum life cycle. And one more thing, how to prepare that how to prepare that user stories and everything. And one more thing, they're writing like in a sprint burn down chart also and burn up chart also, they also show you. So once you watch that video, you just need to prepare the sprint burn down chart and burn up chart. You need to prepare just paste it here, whatever you prepared that one. Okay, this is the ninth question. And the 10th question is explain about the product grooming meet. Okay, so they're conducting like the product grooming meeting, what they're discussing in that earlier we are told explaining, right? So you need to what they're discussing in the product grooming meeting, like nothing but like a product refinement. So what will be there on the product grooming meeting, you just need to write that what is a product grooming meeting. So what they're discussing, you need to write here, guys. Okay, so the next question is explain the roles of the Scrum Master and Product Owner. So actually we have a like a Scrum Master will be there and Product Owner will be there, right? So that what you just explain the roles of the Scrum Master and Product Owner. He's also roles and responsibilities you need to write here for that Scrum Master, Product Owner. Okay. So nothing but like in a Scrum Master, he want to develop an application. So this is the way of thinking like a Scrum Master. Okay, how it will be creating like a new like. Okay, but the product owner, how much a value it will be increased to our company, like the product, the way of thinking like the product owner like this. So his roles and responsibilities, you need to write that one. Okay. And the next thing is explain all meetings conducted the Scrum project. So all meetings, whatever that conducting like a product grouping meeting, product vision, and nothing but like an sprint planning meeting. Okay, Scrum daily stand-up meetings, sprint retrospective. Okay, this type of review meetings. So what they're conducting all meetings, you need to write here, guys, in the 12th question. Okay. And the next thing is in a sprint size at a scrum size. We know the sprint size nothing but like we are giving like in 2 weeks. Okay, you need to write that sprint size and scrum size nothing but like scrum team is a 10 members, right? So you need to write that sprint size related and that scrum size related you need to write here, guys. Okay. And the next thing is a explain a DOR and DOD checklist. So we have a two checklist will be there, definition of ready and definition of done. So once the sprint planning meeting is completed, so ready to start that sprint. So that before the starting the sprint, we got a one checklist that is a DOR. Okay, definition of ready. So here we got our checklist. Okay, each and everything we adjust whatever that sprint related each and everything will be correct or not. Each and everything we just analyze and okay. So that sprint will be ready to start that sprint. Okay, so that time that reward checklist will come. And one more thing, ready to particular once the review meeting is completed. Once all the sprint is completed and we conduct the review meeting also. Once it is completed, after that we got a DOD checklist will come like a definition of done. Okay, then like before deployment. Okay, product shippable increment will come. Before that one we got a DOD checklist. Okay, each and everything will be correct. Okay, ready to go to that live. So that time we got a DOD checklist. Okay, you need to explain that DO or DOD here, guys. Okay, you need to write the DO or DOD checklist here. And the next one is the explain prioritization techniques and MVP. Prioritization techniques is nothing but like a Moscow technique. You need to write that Moscow technique and explain that Moscow technique here. And MVP. MVP is a minimum viable product, guys. So For example, if any product we are taking, how much value it will be increased. Like a, so I mean like a, if you start that product, okay, so basic whatever the basic needs of that particular thing. For example, if any for example we are taking any bicycle, we know that bicycle, right? Everyone know that bicycle. So if I'm taking that bicycle, so what we need for that, I need for like a two tires and something like a, I need for like a one seat and bell, something like that I need for this one. No need for that bell, just a pedal and something like one chain like this. Okay, this is the things is enough for that to go to that race or something like that. Okay, so this is the basic things. We built a like a cycle. Okay, so this is the things we need for that. Same like that, if you are starting to that application, so basic things like some static pages will be initially we are giving, and like a login and login credentials we are giving to start that one. Okay, and that immediately they will give to like an order to that particular customers. So each and one by one, how many features are needed for that MVP? If you start that minimum viable product, so that related user stories we are taking that one. Okay, and we send to that particular a sprint planning meeting. Through the sprint planning meeting, we just go to the we just send to the sprint backlog. Okay, through the sprint planning meeting, we just send to the sprint backlog. Okay, so that we call that before we just do the prioritization and MVP also, and after that we are do that validation also. So this is the things we are doing like. Okay, you need to write that MVP and prioritization techniques only. Okay, in this 15th question. So, and that 16th question is the difference between the business analyst and product owner. So you need to write that difference between the business analyst and product owner. You need to write. And the 17th question is, please prepare a sample resume, guys. Here, so you need to prepare a sample resume of 3 years of experience of the product owner. Just simply sample resume. You need to prepare that one, guys. Okay, so this is the prep 2, guys. Total 17 questions will be there in the prep 2. Okay, just a second, guys.